This is worst case scenario. They actually ordered the house to be torn down because the owner of the lot couldn't come to terms with the people who built the home on the wrong lot. An extremely important part of the Hawaii property buying process is knowing exactly what are you buying. Where are the corners? Where are the boundaries? And there is really only one way to ensure that you know exactly what you are buying. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because there's actually two ways in our Hawaii purchase contract that you can deal with this, and they are staking and surveys, but there's only one of them that really specifically defines and gives you a map of what you're looking at. And I'm going to talk about the difference between both of them. So let's bring in the visuals here. So with stakings and surveys, it's super important to know the difference. There are two separate things in the Hawaii purchase contract. A lot of times people confuse them or think they are the same or they're similar, just one is cheaper, but they're absolutely different. I'm going to talk about what they are here in a second. Another one is who pays for it. This is standard in the purchase contract, but it is always something that is negotiable. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in the purchase contract in a second, because paragraph K is where this is all located. And I'm going to show you what that looks like and go through contractually what to consider when your agent is filling this out, so you understand clearly what's going to happen and what's going to be delivered by the other side when the time comes. And so the reason this is important is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was a big news story a couple of months ago where there was a mix-up where some investors built a home on the wrong lot. They literally built a $500,000 house on the lot next to the one that they actually purchased because they thought they purchased the other lot. And the only way this happens is if you do not do a staking or a survey and actually identify what property you are purchasing and which one you are ultimately building on. So very, very important. This is worst case scenario. They actually ordered the house to be torn down because the owner of the lot couldn't come to terms with the people who built the home on the wrong lot, come up with some kind of an agreement. So this is a horror story, worst case scenario, very, very uncommon, but it's good to know what the worst case scenario is, because a lot of times less serious things happen, and it's usually caused because someone tries to save some cost and not do a staking or a survey and actually identify where their property is. So this is paragraph K of the purchase contract. You don't have to read it. I just want to show you what it looks like. Paragraph K1 is staking. So this is going to mark the corner pins, the boundary pins. Anytime there's a change in the angle of the boundary, there's going to be a pin in the ground, and a staking will go and recertify where all of those points are. So a surveyor will go out there, they'll find where the pins are, they'll usually put a stake in the ground. I'll show you a picture of that in a second. And that way you can kind of see like where the corners are and understand where the boundaries are. What's important about this, and if you look at the last sentence in here, is it says a survey map and report will not be provided, because all you're getting is a marking of the corners with a staking. So it is significantly less cost than a survey is. But again, you are not getting a map or a report. You're just getting a certification that these are the corners. What you do with that is up to you. Next is paragraph K2. So this is an either or paragraph. You either choose K1 or you choose K2, not both, because a staking basically comes with a survey. With a survey, the surveyors are going to go out there and do a full-blown survey. They're going to bring out their equipment, they're going to mark the corner pins, and they're also going to measure any improvements on the property and depict them on a map. So you will get on a map where the house is, where any other improvements are, storage sheds, fence lines, driveways, anything like that will be on the map, and you'll be able to see exactly where everything is. And is it in the setbacks? Is it on the right lot? Does it have any zoning violations? All of that stuff will come in a report and give you a very clear idea of what the situation is with the property and where is everything located. So if you want to know for sure all of those things and answer all of those questions, you absolutely have to get a survey done, because the professional report that you can scientifically rely on, they're going to look at the legal description of the property, they're going to depict any easements that are on the property and make sure that all of the improvements are within county requirements, subdivision covenants, those types of things. So very, very important. If you're looking to relocate here on the Big Island, I want to share with you a resource that we put together. Over 80 agents from my team, expert agents here on the Big Island, put together a relocation guide that will help you evaluate all of the important factors that you want to take into account before you move here to the Big Island. School districts, healthcare, employment, all of the things that you got to think about, we put into one home buyer's guide that will help you figure out what is best when you start this relocation process here to the Big Island. So if you want this guide, just click on the link below, fill out the form. We will send you the guide for free. And if you want to take the next steps and have a conversation with us. We'd be happy to help. And then paragraph K3 is how you would resolve this if there are any issues. So it gives you a timeline that gives a seller the ability to resolve any issues that are discovered within the K2 survey that may be not acceptable to the buyer. And it creates those timelines, and then it creates a requirement for the survey to be updated so the buyer gets a clean survey once the changes have been made. If there was maybe a fence line that crossed the boundary, or if there's a storage shed in a setback, those types of things. Obviously, if the house is built in a setback or built encroaching on another property, it's a bigger issue, but we deal with that at the point of sale. There's not really a lot of things you can do prior to unless they have an existing survey to understand what kind of problems there are. So super important during the process, if you don't have an existing survey or there's been additional improvements done since the last survey, that you do another one and you understand clearly what you're getting into when you're purchasing property. So that is contractually what it looks like. And then just wanted to provide you with a couple of examples so you understand the difference. This is a very straightforward example because it is a lava lot near the ocean, but that is a staking pin. So it's that wooden stake that they put in the ground that marks where the corner of the lot is, and you'll see that at every single corner. If it's just a square or a rectangle, there'll just be 4, but if it's a weird shaped lot, every single time that there's a corner, you will see one of these stakes and you can go out there and verify. But again, you're just looking at where the corners are and kind of eyeballing, hey, is there anything crossing the line? For vacant land, a lot of times this is absolutely acceptable because there are no improvements and there aren't going to be issues that a survey would identify because it's vacant land without anything built on it. But that's what a staking does, just marks the corners. And then this is what a survey looks like. So a survey will give you a breakdown of what exactly the lot looks like. It'll verify the square footage. It'll show you where the residence is. And then if you see this one, it has a bunch of red writing on it. These are all the issues. So encroachment issues or setback issues. And these are things that will be further described in the report. So you can do some more research and make sure that if there's anything in here that is really a problem, you can negotiate with the seller to get them fixed per K3 of the contract. So it's a lot more detail, gives you a lot more information and a lot more security that you are not buying anything that could be a problem in the future. Because if you purchase it and you don't know about it, and then in the future you're trying to resell and then you get a survey done and you identify things, it's your problem now. You cannot go back to the previous person because you waived your right to a survey to find out while you were purchasing the property. So all things very important. If you have any questions about this or your specific situation, again, a lot of times you may need to seek legal advice if there's some big problems, but you need that first professional report done by a surveyor to get that, which then we can evaluate and see what you need to do next. But always happy to help if I can. Email is dylan@buybigisland.com. If you have questions, you can always book a meeting. In the comments below, there's a link to my calendar. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Every week we've sent out more information like this about buying property in Hawaii. So if this is helpful to you, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Always appreciate you watching. Aloha.